Right.
Yeah, but you're
Blind
right.
faith.
Blind faith, or Fideism, just having fidelity in something you don't know about, just because, just doesn't seem to really cut it.
I,
And when
I looked at an apologetic book last night for some reason, and I looked up that, is it Fideism or
mm,
Fideism or
Fideism, yeah, Fideism,
and
Fideism,
that's having a faith without any
it's pure fidelity, just latching onto something and hanging on for dear life
for faith only. I mean, there
because.
is no.
Just because, yeah, it's not. I would say that it's not an informed faith.
Isn't
You
it?
know,
Wouldn't that be kind of an
it's blind
estranged
faith.
or a negative uh,
I think.
belief?
Well, I think that it's a negative. I don't think that people should just have faith in something they know absolutely nothing about.
And that's what it is, though, right?
Credulity, right? I think so. That's the way I understand fideism, is that you just believe it. You just reach down deep inside, dig it up out of yourself, and latch onto it. I mean, despite whatever.
Despite
Uh,
any arguments on either side.
right, right. And that's and people may have their opinions on that. My particular position on that is that fideism is not what the scripture describes as
Mm-hmm.
faith. The scripture uh, seems to me to describe a very informed faith. We because I believe that faith is trust. I understand faith is
Yeah, I
trust.
like that word,
Pistos is
trust.
trust. So we trust God. Why? Because we know things about God. We know God, so we can trust Him. If we knew that God was a liar, you couldn't trust Him. But we know God that He's not like a man that He would lie.
Mm-hmm.
We know that God is truth, so we can trust Him. We can place our faith in Him. See, and that's I mean, the reason that we have saving faith and can have saving faith in Christ is what? Because Christ is good to keep His promise. He defeated death. He was crucified, buried, and He defeated death. He was victorious over death. We know this about Him, and so we can place our trust in Him. And so when He says that we'll be resurrected just like He was, and enter into the new world, the world to come, then we can take Him at His word on these things, because He's demonstrated to us that He's capable of doing that.
When you have you made a video for a while?
Uh, let's see here. I think the last video I did was a response to Capricious Black Box
I seen that.
on his asking about what it is to be elect.
When you prepare to make one, is it as a subject matter or a response? What prompts you to make a video?
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, some are kind of responses because something pops up that you kind of want to speak to, like a video that I want to, uh, if I get around to making, I would like to respond to Matthew Steele on his question about theology, and kind of asking the question, why do you believe what you believe? As I understand, I want to watch the video again, but as I understand it, and I want to give a few, because it's only going to be 3 minutes, just give a couple of.
You mean he asks that specifically of you, or
No,
is
no,
it
no, of
general?
everybody, even the non-believer,
Why do you believe
what
what you believe?
about theology, I believe, is what and stuff. Yeah, so I something like that. I may respond to that, or Capricious Black Box might say something, and I'm like, oh, that's that. I would like to speak to that, so I'll make a video on that. It might be something that frustrates me, like
Mm-hmm.
uh, I made a video in response about some particular people's beliefs and how they were uh, trying to demonstrate that these particular beliefs are the cause of the way these parents treated their child, and I wanted to speak to that. I try to be a little bit methodological in my videos though, and so I'll have a subject that I want to go through. Like I talked about, I was talking about worldviews a little bit at one point, so I kind of wanted to talk about different kind of sections of the pie that is your worldview, and so I kind of go through that, and then like right now, I'm just slowly but surely kind of going through a series of videos on the historical Jesus, and so and the methodology that I chose to do is to just start asking questions about the source materials that we get the historical Jesus from. And so the first question I asked is, what are the Gospels? and just kind of go through that methodology, go through that. Then now I've stepped out to the New Testament, and I kind of want to branch it out to the New Testament. So I've kind of taken a segue into that by doing a section on textual criticism to demonstrate that we do have
Yeah.
something that is similar to the originals. And then I want to go on out to, I'll be going on out to non-biblical sources and things, and so I'll be discussing, like the next video that'll be coming up that I want to do on the textual variants or textual criticism is just talking about the problem of can we, or asking the questions, can we have absolute certainty about our texts, or should we have utter despair about these texts? And are these two extremes that are both unnecessary, and is there some sort of happy middle that people can adopt to get a more real picture of what's going on with the New Testament itself?
And where are you at when, like, the textual criticism and the word inerrancy
Mm-hmm.
is, how do you respond to people when they say, I can show you where there's mistakes in the Bible, that there's been so many copies, and there's so many different authors, and through the years, it's changed because of folklore and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, well, that goes into a couple of different things, like the problem of folklore, or what we would say is the problem of, I call it the problem of legend.
Yeah.
Has the story in the New Testament has it become legendary? And so I would address that, and the way you would start addressing that is asking, at what time were the scriptures written? Was there enough time for legend to be going on? The eyewitness accounts, what kind of witness was still around at the time of the scriptures? If they were written in an eyewitness period, and certain things like that. As far as inerrancy, obviously there's what's called variance in the New Testament between all the different texts that we have. As I understand it, generally understood, there's only about out of all the stuff that we have, there's about 1% that would affect doctrine. Some of it might be they're like the incident. Say if you're in a debate on baptism and whether or not baptism has anything to do with your salvation, so to speak, in and of that it has salvific power or what. So in other words, like when Christ was talking to the criminal that was with him, the thief there, and he said, "This day, I tell you, you'll be with me in paradise."
Yeah.
And so there could be a question in the punctuation, or the way that the punctuation translates into English. Christ could have been saying that very day they're going to paradise, or he could have been saying, I'm telling you, this day you'll be with me in paradise. So these could, well, I guess actually that doesn't really touch on the baptismal. What I meant to say is like the soul.